Hi guys, welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe. How are you guys all doing? Glad to see some of you are already on here. Hi Rob, nice to see you. Hi Kristen, greetings from Northern Michigan. I check on my phone too because sometimes that's the only way we know. Hey Neshi, how you doing? I'm hoping this is all coming out good to go. And I'm sure you will let me know if there's any problems with it, knowing that you're here. Yeah, it's the interesting thing has been the weather is really hot and humid, which it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be, okay, the video is spooling. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do much better. What do you recommend that I do, Miss Neshi? Should we do our plan for me to come in as a guest? Maybe if you could type in and let me know. Oh, it's crappy internet on my end for certain. Yes. So I'm checking in with Neshi on what I should be doing. Mary Ellen is saying her video is good. All right, so she says to keep going and see how it goes. Yeah, the internet is really spotty here, would be my best guess. And the people who run the facility don't really have any knowledge. And I'm feeling like we might get away with it this afternoon. Tomorrow evening may be a problem because there's not really anybody here to be using up the bandwidth, like streaming videos. But that doesn't mean there aren't people who are on it. You know, there are employees who are here. So we'll see how it goes. And it's pretty interesting that today's subject is about anxiety, because that has been my anxiety probably since yesterday. What am I going to do if the internet doesn't work? What am I going to do if I can't get a good signal? That's just something that, you know, you can only do what you can do when you're on vacation, and maybe my spiritual team is letting me know about that stuff. So this has been a topic. It's actually really funny. I was supposed to talk about this a couple weeks ago, and I was gone. Hi, Nancy. Nice to see you. How are you doing? Woohoo! I was supposed to talk about the energy of anxiety a couple weeks ago, and I was out of state and I was flying, and my plane got switched and all sorts of things happened, so I couldn't do the broadcast. And because I had the next show ready to go, I had to delay doing the one about anxiety. So isn't it kind of funny that I'm away again, and things are out of my control? So the universe is giving me a little bit of signal on how I play anxiety. I would say, you know, for me, it tends to be, you know, not being able to control things in the moment. You know, like you have a plan and you're not able to execute it. That for me can cause some anxiety, especially if it's something really specific, like that has to do with my job or my work. It can be a little difficult for me. But I have a lot of clients and a lot of students who get really worried about the future. What if? What if I can't pay for that? What if I don't have time to finish that? What if? And they start to create these things in the future. All of that is pulling your energy out of the present moment. And when we're not in the moment, we are often caught in anxiety. I see it energetically as we're being stretched. Like a slinky, or Stretch Armstrong, for those of you who are old enough to remember that, or who is it, Elastigirl? Is that who it is on The Incredibles, who gets pulled all out of sorts? So if you aren't in this moment and you are stretched, so you're spread way out, people will even say, I'm spread too thin, right? Those are times when you're anxious, and it may be stress that you're feeling. It may be overwhelm that you're feeling. But if we stay in that state too long, lots of times we get things called anxiety, or you may even have some panic or fear that comes in because you are in the possibility rather than in the present. And that can sound a little technical, but it's really when we're not in the moment. And it can be really difficult to stay in the moment when we have a bunch of things on a to-do list. And in terms of symptoms with your body, generally your breathing starts to get more shallow. We only use the upper third, if we're lucky, of our lungs to breathe when we're anxious or we're stressed. And sometimes the hardest thing to do for somebody who's anxious is to actually breathe. People are like, oh, just breathe. And all you want to do is smack them, because if you could just breathe, you would, right? And this is something that, before I really understood my energy system, before I worked with my chakras in so much depth, I didn't understand what was causing the anxiety, whether it was certain situations. And all of us can have, things that trigger us that make it really difficult. I love Rob's comment. Will smacking them help with the anxiety? I don't know, but maybe it'll throw you into the present moment, Rob, and I'll tell you, doesn't that sometimes feel like it would be like helpful? And actually, lots of times, if you I think about like the Three Stooges sometimes, where it's like they get spinning and spinning and spinning into the possibilities. And, it's like a slap across the face. And it's like, oh, that realization of like, no, you're here right now. And I would rather be in control of my here and now than have the universe give me a kind of 2x4 to put me into the present. And when we are in that anxious state, we're actually starting to create what we're most nervous about. So if you're worried something's going to happen, chances are you're making it happen in that moment. Like, what if this happens? And what if my car breaks down? And then when you're in the moment where your car breaks down, you're like, see, I told you. Well, you created it in all the worry and all the anxiety. So trying to get ourselves back energetically in the moment, trying to get our chakras so they're not stretched into the future. And sometimes it's a matter of releasing what has happened in the past so that it doesn't make you anxious. Oh, the last time I did this, this is what happened. That doesn't have to be true for this time. And so there's times when our past dictate what we perceive our future to be. I know that sounds a little complicated. I'm not sure. For those of you guys who are, used to seeing me on this show, Spirit speaks through me in their own way. So sometimes I have a very, educated being who doesn't talk more traditional. So I'm hearing very complicated words and trying to translate them into something that are bite-sized pieces. So I'll do my best with that for you guys. So right now, I could be focused on the anxiety of whether the internet's going to work or not, right? Or I can just be in the moment and be like, it's going to be what it's going to be. And if things need to change, then we'll change them. And if not, we'll just go for it. And that allows me to have a fuller breath. It allows me to stay more grounded. It allows the energy to just flow in my body, and it gives me more opportunities because maybe, you know, the anxiety could have more energy than actually doing the show, if that makes sense. One of the best things for me to do too was to send my husband outside, to sit outside with a book and just chill so that he wasn't anxious about how this was going. And because he was nervous about the internet because it kept not working very well last night. And so I could have been caught in the contagion of his anxiety as well. So sometimes when we get anxious and when we get nervous, it's not even ours. It's somebody around us who's anxious and nervous. And, if you grew up in a household where one of your parents carried a lot of stress, that might have created anxiety for you because you didn't necessarily know what parent was walking in the door, the calm, laughing, funny one, the one who's stressed out and like banging their stuff, or the one who has a short temper. So that contagion, that we're reacting to our environment. So sometimes it's somebody else in our environment who we are reacting to in an anxious way, but it's still our reaction. I have had times where my mom has said to her partner, "You make me anxious. Your anxiety is making me anxious." Well, their anxiety is their anxiety, and you can choose whether to respond to it or not. And if you aren't resilient, if you don't have a strong sense of self and a strong force field, you are going to respond to other people's anxiousness around you as well. So feel whether it's inside of you. Let's start there. Or whether you're responding to your environment. Are you spinning in some possible future scenario? Or are you in somebody else's energy? Because that's really important, because either one can make it difficult to clear your own energy. And so anxiety in general is going to start as this squeezing or this feeling in your belly and in your solar plexus, or the third chakra. Most people are going to feel it hit in that location first. It can feel like butterflies. It can feel like there's energy that's like squiggling and moving around you. But remember, excitement and anxiety can feel very, very similar, because they're both stirring up energy into something in the future, right? So we all can get really excited about Christmas, or we can remember when we were kids and you get excited. And it's because we were in the future. And that future held presents and wonderful things. And it's why sometimes the holidays can be so anxiety producing and so stressful, because you're trying to create a future and you have a specific vision of how you want it to unfold. And there's so many factors that we can't control in those scenarios, rather than just being in the joy of the moment. So you can get to choose whether you're excited and you're looking forward to it or whether it's stressing you out, right? So we can remember being the kids and we can remember being the adults or the parents who are trying to create this magical day, and literally gets ripped open in minutes, and you had months of anxiety leading up to it possibly. So what would happen if you actually just got to enjoy it second by second and minute by minute rather than being worried all the time? How would your quality of life change for you? I know for me, releasing as much anxiety as I can has really changed the quality of my life because I don't worry about it. Like the show is going to go on, right? Um, I used to be a dance teacher in my former life. And so we planned all year for this big recital, for this big show. And I did everything I could to prepare and to lead up to it, make sure my kids were prepared, and you do dress rehearsal for a reason. You do a run through to get all the nerves and all the anxiety out. And if somebody was really anxious and nervous, we'd stop and we'd do it again and we would breathe through it if we needed to, and if it meant the little one went out on stage with their teddy bear, well, then they went out on stage with their teddy bear. That didn't matter because it was the doing that mattered, and how you got to be in the moment and be in the excitement. And then whatever happened on show day is what happened on show day. And we laughed and laughed about, things that went well and things that didn't go well. It didn't really matter. So if I wasn't in, teacher screaming mode, then my kids didn't have to be anxious about pleasing me either, right? So, the prep time ahead of time sometimes was anxiety producing for all of us, because there's a part of you that wants it to be perfect, except there is no perfect, right? And when we let go of perfection, we usually can let go of our anxiety. Yes, nice. Hi, Cassidy. Perfect. I know you guys really lost somebody close. So Cassidy is a former dance student of mine. And it makes us really anxious when our reality shifts, when we lose somebody unexpectedly and they're young or they're not young. But if we lose somebody unexpectedly, it shifts our reality a little bit. And when our reality gets shaken up, that can be anxiety producing because, we can get in the fear of what's next or what could be next. But right in the moment, focusing on what's around you and what is in the room with you. So one of the things that works quickly if you're having anxiety is to focus on things that are in the room with you. So right now you could focus on naming 5 blue things that are in the room with you. So it might be like, for me, my dress has blue in it. The painting right in front of me has blue in it. The water bottle right next to me has blue in it. There's blue on my computer screen, and there's blue in my suitcase. And as soon as I am thinking about what's in the room, I've already dropped my energy into the room. And now I might pick 4 things that are black. And so black rim on the computer screen, the black desk that the computer's on, the black arm of the lighting, the light that is shining over me, and even the black screen on my phone. And as I focus on what's in the room, I'm in the moment right now. And that can help a lot. And we are going to do a meditation in a little bit to release anywhere we may be holding anxiety. And one of the things that happens when we hold on to anxiety is our adrenal glands get revved up. That fight, flight, freeze gets activated. And when that happens, it's meant to happen to create an action, a reaction of sorts to our environment. So if we're in danger, we either freeze or we run or we fight. And unfortunately, the way our society is right now, we've created so many stressors that our energy system can get revved up in the moment. And when we're revved up in the moment, sometimes we can't shut it off. And when we can't shut it off, then we're not sleeping because our body doesn't feel like it's safe to go to sleep. And that happens with any kind of trauma. And when somebody dies unexpectedly, it can be a traumatic experience for us, especially if we get spinning in the that could have been me, or that could have, why did that have to happen, or all sorts of scenarios that happens. And, it's really, really, hurts our heart when we lose somebody who's close to us because, we take them for granted. We expect people to be around forever, except none of us are really here forever. And so I take solace in the fact that your friend is actually in a space where they can be with you even more often, that you can connect with them and talk to them. And have them around even more. And there's a reason for that. But it's hard when you're in the moments of grief and anxiety to get to that space. It takes a little time, and you get to give yourself time for that, sweetheart. Because everybody grieves in their own way. So I'm here to tell you, don't let anybody tell you how you get to grieve the loss of your friend, because it's a personal experience for you. And it takes a while to go through all the stages of grief. And if we don't allow ourselves to feel them, then we actually hold on to that even longer. And it makes us even harder for us to do things like sleep. And, you are close by to me, so reach out if you want to see me in person and get some extra help in person. But we're going to do a meditation, and let's see if that will help a little bit. And the cool thing about these shows is that they're taped, basically. As soon as we're done, they're ready to be watched again. And you don't even have to listen to this part of me talking. You can listen to the broadcast to the meditation and use it again and again until you feel calmer or more centered. Yes, thank you, Neshi. So one of the things that will help and happen, I'm sure Cassidy, you in particular, know some other people who are dealing with the loss here and have anxiety about it. Maybe they're not sleeping. So share the link, and I'm really glad your mom shared the link and tagged you in it so that you could be here. And so after we're done, feel free to share and like the post and tag people if you think they need it, because don't we all know somebody who's anxious and somebody who's having trouble sleeping because of their anxiety? I mean, the stress level on the planet is huge. And there are a lot of things that are in our current reality that can stress us out and cause us anxiety, but we also have a lot of perceived things like, oh, they're doing layoffs at work and I could lose my job. Well, you haven't lost it, but it could cause a lot of stress and worry that would cause you anxiety because it could be a possibility. Now, it could be a possibility every single day of your life, but when it's not brought to your attention, you don't really worry about it. You just go day to day. And that's what I'm talking about, being stressed and stretched into the future. The what if that happened to me? What could I do? Or you're anxious about the past. I wish I had said XYZ. I wish I had known. Well, nothing could have been done even if you did know. So letting that go, and knowing that in the moment, you can only take care of you. So let's talk about our breath again. So in our breathing, our brain needs oxygen, right? And if we don't get enough oxygen, then our thoughts aren't working very well. And if our thoughts aren't working very well, then we're not sleeping. Nice. Yes, you are very sensitive, so you and I need to chat. I believe that. When she gets back from her little vacation, we'll have a chat, my dear, because that can be anxiety producing too. When people are super sensitive to the energy around them, some of us feel spirits. And if you don't know what to do about that, that can be overwhelming to step into a new place and to feel some being in there, who hasn't crossed over. That can be anxiety producing. Sometimes we can see people's auras and then see something might not be working very well. And if we don't know what that is, that can stress you out. For me, being able to see and sense people's physical well-being, if I didn't have a way to turn that off, I used to feel everybody everywhere I went. So going to like the mall or the airport, it would just overwhelm me, feeling so much. So when I learned how to create a stronger boundary for myself, a stronger personal bubble, so it was just me. It's just me in my bubble. And I will open my bubble to help heal other people, but it's my choice. And that's my sort of contract with the divine. Like, okay, right this moment, right, I'm being in service. I'm helping those of you who are listening and watching, whether it's live or it's in the future. It doesn't matter. And so I feel in my body different places where people are holding on to anxiety right this minute. Like there's some in the belly, there's some in the chest, there's some people who are, their throats kind of squeezed just from us talking about this. And all of that is normal because when you have an anxiety or a panic attack, what happens is you stop being able to breathe. So all of the bubbling up in the belly rises up into your heart and your lungs, and then the energy there constricts. So right at the top in the bronchial tubes, they squeeze shut. And when they start to squeeze shut, you start to panic that you are suffocating. And when you are panicked that you're suffocating, then your throat actually starts to close down because it believes you're suffocating. So all of these physical reactions are part of the difficulty that we run into when we're anxious. Because if it revs up, it can get all out of control really quickly. And so while you might want to tell somebody who's having anxiety to breathe, which is really the root of what they need, it actually makes them anxious when you tell them breathe, because then they worry that they're not breathing, and in the worry of them thinking they're not breathing, they stop breathing. So you want to take their attention off of all the things that are creating the not breathing, and you want to get them to focus on things in front. And that's why I like to use the strategy of like, tell me 5 things that are blue, 4 things that are black, 3 things that are red, or whatever color or whatever number, because people have to stop and look around the room. And then they get out of the spinning energy of their head and the thoughts that are out of control. So you can actually imagine that in the third eye near the brain, the energy is kind of swirling. It feels like a spinning, but it often is just getting stretched. It's in the future and it's in the past and it's not really in the moment. So all of that can cause extra anxiety, you know. And so it's why things like using a worry stone, holding on to a stone and rubbing it, the sensation of that pulls you back into this moment. So you're feeling and having a texture, and it's the using that, you know, so you can rub your, you know, the people who will rub on the top of their legs so that they can feel themselves in their body. That can help reduce the anxiousness as well. So, geez, Susan says, I can feel anxious when I have some feelings that need to come out. It's not always obvious at first that's what needs to happen. Yes. When we have repressed emotions that surface, that can be anxiety producing too, because we don't know where they're coming from, right? So I had a thing yesterday where we were just driving, and all of a sudden I started like tearing up. And my husband's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just something old that needed to go." I didn't really know what it was, but it was like some old sadness that got triggered, and it just needed to be released. And it had nothing to do with the moment we were in, and I didn't make it about the moment we were in. I just like felt that. And I could have gotten all stressed out and anxious about why my body wanted to start crying in this moment. But instead, which is what I would have done in the past, to be truthful. I would have tried not to cry because I didn't want people to think I was depressed. But sometimes you just need to let it out, or sometimes you need to laugh, and sometimes you have old anger that needs to come out. And for me, like if I'm in the car, I'll often, you know, switch to music that helps with that energy, you know, so I can sing it out or just let it out in that particular way. But I also try to bring the music back to a joyful place. I don't leave it in anger. I don't leave it in sadness, because I don't need to wallow in it. I just want to express it and then let it go. So I always bring the music back up to something happy and joyful, so that I don't stay stuck in that old energy either. But thank you, Susan, for sharing that, because that is very true. There are a lot of things that can make us feel anxious. And remember that they're all inside of ourselves. So hopefully all this talk about anxiousness hasn't created anxiousness, but if it has, cool, because let's release it. All right. So we'll start with the normal things. I'm going to be guiding you. I'm a channel, so I'm helping you with your release. And to do that, you may hear me make clearing sounds. That's so I don't hold on to your energy in my body. And so they often sounds like little burps or squawks. And sometimes there is an ancient one who sounds like an, elder medicine man or something like that who will speak. And if that happens, that is sensation that I have from that is that he's speaking to your soul on some old, very primal way to help you remember how to deal with the energy. Most people end up nodding and feeling like they're being spoken to, if that's happening for you. Yes, Rob says, sometimes you simply have to crank some Black Sabbath. Oh, yeah, babe. You know, Pat Benatar is my, the hit me with your best shot. She's my, my crank it music. My husband has a little different taste. He goes more into, the Beastie Boys and Rammstein, or I think that's their name. I don't know. They just sound really mad. I can't be in the room when he plays some of that stuff because my empath really picks it up. But yeah, just play what you need to play to help it release, so you're not hanging on to it. It's all good. So after we do the meditation, we'll kind of regroup and gather and see how you did. And so to start, you want to have your arms and your legs uncrossed. We want to keep our circuits wide open so that the energy can just simply flow through you. And it is you working with your soul and your spiritual team. I do not have any part of, I'm not checking out what you're feeling. I don't know where the energy is moving from or who it's coming from. I'm just moving it for the entire group. So this is between you and your spiritual team. So we're going to start by calling in the divine energy, however you perceive that. So whether you connect with God or Goddess, Creator, all that is, the universe, oneness, just really connect with that energy in your own unique way in this moment. Good. And we're going to ask the divine energy to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light. And if you are having any discomfort, feel free to ask for a second bubble to cover the entire room or the entire space that you are in this moment as well. Yeah. We're going to call in your spiritual team, your angels, your guides, your ancestors, the ascended masters, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to you and to us in this moment right now. Yeah. Yeah. And we're just going to begin by connecting to the divine at the top of the head and for the crown, and really feeling and sensing our connection. So you may feel pressure or tingling. You may feel hot or cold or just sense pressure, or you may experience nothing at all. And all of that is perfectly fine, for we each connect to the divine in our own unique way. Yeah. We're going to begin by calling the energy in to clear our brain and our thoughts and our third eye, so it can stop all the spinning thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and patterns that may be stretching our energy out of the present moment. Yeah. And let's begin by releasing all energy from the past, things that we're worried about that happened, that we wished we could have changed or done differently, and just allowing that to be for the moment, and just focus on you being here right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then really bring our energy out of the future, all of the to-do lists, all the things that we're worried about, that we're trying to create or not create, and just really be back in this moment,
Yeah.
taking care of ourselves and our spirit in this moment.
Yeah.
And we invite all five of our senses and our intuition to work together as a team so that we can get clarity on the information that we're receiving and strengthen our inner knowing.
Yeah.
But sometimes their anxiety happens in the not knowing. So really allowing space for clarity to come in. And opening up our communication with our spiritual team, with our angels and with our guides, and opening all the pathways, all the ways that we can receive messages and information.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we open communication, it also allows us to be heard more fully, and it allows us to hear others more fully, even people and friends.
Yeah.
So we not only hear their words, but we sense the communication coming from their body language as well.
Yeah.
And opening up our throat and allowing space for us to speak our truth, speak what we need, and express who we are without any worry, shame, doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
And releasing all the words that we've held on to unsaid,
yeah.
any words of anger that we've expressed from a triggered space, maybe didn't really mean, and allowing the healing to spread through that,
Yeah.
and all the ways that our voice has been blocked by others, knowingly or unknowingly. Just giving space for us to be able to feel into that and allow that to
Yeah.
unfold.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Releasing all the stress and the tension that you may be holding on to in the back of your neck and your shoulders. all the responsibilities you may be carrying for yourself and for others, and all of the anxiousness that that can create.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just giving yourself a little space to breathe in this moment.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
There you go. And now moving into your lungs and allowing your lungs to breathe life fully. Releasing all the times that you've held your breath in worry, in fear.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And the times when your heart has raced and gotten revved up from the fear and the nervousness, whether the fear was real or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Allowing your heart to gently settle into its own natural rhythm at this moment. And releasing all the stress and anxiety that your inner child has been holding on to for you from your childhood, from your worry about the energy that you may have picked up from others, or the need to read your environment closely and just allowing you to be in this moment and for your inner child to just relax and be in this moment
Yeah.
so it can remember the joy and the wonderment and the excitement that life can bring.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And releasing your inner adult from all the stress and responsibilities and the to-do lists that it's been carrying, and just the ways your adult gets caught in the doing and forgets about the being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just allowing that to open and expand.
Yeah.
And opening your communication with your inner warrior and allowing the warrior to be at peace in this moment. Because in this moment,
Yeah.
there is no stress and no worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There simply is a being.
Yeah.
You can release the hypervigilance and just be in this moment, safe and secure,
Yeah.
surrounded and protected by your entire spiritual team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And opening communication with your sage elder, that part of you that carries all the wisdom of all your lifetimes. And opening that energy up so that you can hold all that wisdom when you need it. So the answer is right there. No need to be anxious
got it,
because the knowing resides within you
got it,
fully and completely when you are ready to hear it and know it.
got it, got it,
And now moving into your solar plexus and your belly right below your rib cage.
got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, yeah,
Releasing all of the energy you've picked up from others first. Just really allowing the energy from them to go back. You needed it to feel it in the moment, but now you do not need to be holding it for them.
got it,
Releasing anything in you that is causing you worry, that is squeezing your self esteem, squeezing your self worth.
yeah,
And asking the adrenals to calm in this moment. Imagining the divine white energy surrounding them in a beautiful bubble so that they can quiet and reset. Because in this particular moment of now, there's no need for fear. You can simply be held and supported by the divine energy.
got it,
Releasing any anger that you're holding on to for yourself or for others, any resentment, judgment, assumptions that may be fueling the spinning thoughts, ideas, or beliefs that create more anxiety or create more worry for you.
got it, got it,
And moving below the belly button to your second chakra and really restoring your water back to flow. By that I mean allowing you to feel all your feelings fully with no shame, no blame, no guilt. Your feelings are simply that. They're your radar to allow you to know how to read your environment within your body and around you. So there's no bad feelings, no wrong feelings. They're all simply feelings. And being in a place where the feelings are given and received, the exchange
yeah,
between others is equal and balanced in giving and receiving, so that there's no anxiety in your relationships either.
got it,
And allowing it to move all the way down to your tailbone and into your legs and really release any last places in your body where you may not feel safe or secure, in your home, with your finances, your job, or just the environment, the country, whatever may create worry for you.
Yeah.
And allowing your energy to take root, really deeply take root beneath the ground. So you can imagine giant roots going down like a big tree, or a huge cord of connection that goes down from your tailbone all the way through the ground, through the foundation, through the floors, through all the layers of the earth, through miles and miles of rocks and past bones and civilizations, until you are anchored right at the molten lava center of the earth, right at the heartbeat of the grandmother earth. And really strengthen your connection. Make those roots and cords really wide and deep, grabbing onto as much earth as you can. And allowing all the energy that we were releasing to go deep within the ground. And as it goes deep into the ground, it composts to turn into beautiful new air and water and food for the entire planet. The more that we're willing to release, the more we help heal the planet. And now take a deep breath. And just invite the divine energy to shower down through you one more time, coming in through the top of the head, through the third eye, through the brain, down past your jaw, into your neck, on your shoulders and your arms, on your lungs and your heart, through your rib cage, down your spine, past your organs and your belly, all the way to your pelvic floor, down both legs equally, past your thighs and your knees and your calves and your feet. And just allowing the energy to wash over you like a gentle bath, a cleansing. And we gently ask that our bubble of protection be strengthened all around us, repairing all the tears and that we may have, the cracks and the crevices in each and every direction, in front of us, behind us, on either side of us, above us, and below us, so that we can feel safe and protected in our own sacred container.
Yeah.
And just take a moment to thank your spiritual team for being here with you.
Yeah.
And take a few deep breaths and really begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes and feel the weight of your body on the chair, feel the clothes on your body, and just really come back into the moment. So we each have moments where we get nervous and when we worry and we get anxious. And that's part of the human experience. So don't create more anxiety by blaming yourself for what you're feeling and experiencing. Just do your best in the moment to get back into the present, because in the present is where you can actually take action to create something different in your life and create a more peaceful place to be. And I am somebody who used to carry a lot of anxiety. I used to carry a lot of stress. I had very intense post-traumatic stress disorder. And that has a lot that goes with it. And the hypervigilance and the not sleeping. I totally remember being there. And when I feel that energy want to take root, I do the best that I can, because that's all we can do, to bring myself back into the moment. And I hope that this has been a chance for you to do that as well. And if there's anybody that you can think of in your life who might need a little love and support on helping them with their stress and helping them with their anxiety, please like and share this broadcast with them, because that's part of my mission, to heal the healers. And we're all healers. We're all here to do something spectacular for the planet. And if we're all caught in anxiety and nervousness and worry, then we're not being who we're meant to be. So I hope you guys will join me tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Soul Connections, where we do a healing meditation to clear whatever you need to clear in your life. You get to set your own intention. And then I pull cards and give divine messages until we're done. And so for anybody who asks for a card and a message, you will receive one. And so there may be somebody who needs a little extra guidance and love and attention in your life, and share that with us as well. So with that, you guys, I'm going back to the beach, and I hope you have a fabulous day. We'll see you soon. Bye.